Good evening. Good evening. Thursday. Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Thursday, January 23rd, 2025. Making the headlines tonight, 2 charged with murder in connection to Crooked Tree Junction double murder. Compo addresses potential influx of deportees from the U.S. Central Bank unveils a design of spanking new currency notes. And $50 million from Green Climate Fund to go to improving sugarcane production. We take our first break and return with the news in detail. Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. Police have arrested and charged 2 men in connection with the murder of 37-year-old Felix Santiago Martinez and 40-year-old Adelita Amalia Gillett on Monday evening. The duo was charged the 29-year-old car dealer Giovanni Rashad Jones and 23-year-old driver Jerwin Ornand Segura. Both suspects reside in Burrelboom, Belize district, where both victims also lived. The couple was found lifeless in a red Chevrolet Equinox parked on the side of the road near mile 31 on the Philip Golson Highway in the Belize district, just a short distance from the Crooked Tree Junction. Police believe the incident stemmed from a car deal gone wrong. Reportedly, the couple had paid $35,000 back in October 2024 towards a vehicle purchase. When Jones failed to deliver the vehicle in over 2 months, the couple requested that the money be returned and hired an attorney. It is suspected the couple was lured to the location, expecting their money to be returned. The duo was arraigned this morning at the Belize City Magistrate Court and were remanded until March 25th. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams today heavily chastised the media houses who initially reported the motive may have been robbery and before that it was a murder-suicide. He cautioned the media to confirm their information before disseminating their stories and to think about the grieving families in such cases. He then provided details of the incident.
Police conducted investigation right away, and a few minutes later, 2 suspects were detained in a vehicle that was seen parked right behind the vehicle that the 2 deceased persons were in at the particular time or immediately after the shooting or immediately after the persons were found in the vehicle dead. Other evidential material obtained by investigators during the course of investigation led to the arrest of 2 individuals, one of whom is a car dealer and the other is an associate of that car dealer. Those persons were charged yesterday and I believe they were taken before the courts today, where they were remanded to prison. The family will be given an update by the police tomorrow so that they can know exactly what the police have against those 2 individuals. There are several other things that we're doing, like looking at the phones and analysis of calls and different things that we'll be doing, getting information from the cell phones and other places that we believe we can get things of evidential value. We take this matter very seriously and we have assured the family members that we will do all we can to ensure that we gather the best possible evidence to secure a conviction come trial date. Investigation showed that the 2 persons who were murdered had given, I believe, $35,000 to the car dealer, who is a guy Jones from Burrelboom Village. And I think 2 months had passed and he had not brought in the vehicle that he had promised to bring for them. They then sought to recover back their money from him. They even went to the extent of going to a lawyer, and the lawyer sent a demand letter to Mr. Jones. It can be reasonably inferred and even substantiated by what the 2 suspects have said, that they lured these 2 individuals to that area where the murder actually took place. Now, there are certain things that they are saying that investigators do not believe, and the facts or the circumstances on the ground prove otherwise to what they are saying. So there are several inconsistencies in their account that they gave to the police. Nonetheless, that's a matter for investigators to look at. And again, just to reiterate my point, that we are doing as much as we can to make sure we secure sufficient evidence for a successful prosecution.
The Compol says there are no confirmed previous complaints against the accused. Jones was a licensed firearm holder. However, the Compol today would not disclose if they believe that was the firearm used to commit the crime. Martinez was well known in the basketball community, having played for Galen University and in the Belize Elite Basketball League. He worked at Belize Bank Limited as an analyst manager. Gillett was a pharmaceutical manager at Brody's Pharmacy. The couple leaves behind a 10-year-old son. Several Belize high officials have been asked if they are concerned about the potential mass deportation of Belizeans from the United States under the second Trump administration. Today, the Commissioner of Police, Chester Williams, shared the procedure they follow whenever a Belizean is deported and stated that in the event mass deportations occur, they would simply follow procedure.
Once you get a deportee coming in, we get a notice that the deportee will be coming in on certain flights, and that information comes to me. I send that information to GI3. GI3 then goes to the airport and meet that person when they get off the flight. That person is then taken into an office, interviewed by immigration. From there, they're brought to Belize City to the GI3 office, where they go through the process as a deportee. They'll be issued a letter instructing them that they're to report to the police station in the area where they reside, either once or twice a week for a certain period of time. If it is that they are to change their address while they are reporting, they have an obligation to ensure that they report to the police that they have changed their address. If, as a part of that deportee process as well, they are not supposed to hang out with any person who are of criminal background. So there are several things that comes with being a deportee while reporting, and we ensure that those issues as stipulated by law, that they are followed to the T. So once a deportee, for example, changes his address without notifying GI3, that deportee can be charged criminally and taken before the court.
Does police anticipate an influx?
Well, obviously, we have heard the news from the new President of the United States that they'll be rounding up people and they'll be sending them back home. So we are expecting that, yes, certain people will be brought back home. And as I've said before, there are some of these people who are wanted by the police for crimes they have been accused of committing, and we're waiting for them. Once they land at the airport, we'll be there to receive them, and they go through the process.
Finally, sir,
the government of Belize has secured around $50 million in funding from the Green Climate Fund, GFC. The finance will be invested in projects aimed at enhancing sugar production. Earlier this week, Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Trade, Dr. Osman Martinez, told the media that the country is looking to invest in new varieties of sugarcane which are more climate resilient.
We have been able to identify climate finance through GCF, which is the Green Climate Fund. The Green Climate Fund headquarters is in Songdo, South Korea. And we managed to secure around $50 million to enhance the sugar production, and to have a direct impact within the farmers. And one of the impacts that it will have is that there will be replanting, and the variety of the cane that will be used, I understand that it will be more in line with climate resilient and climate adaptation methods, but also the cane, the product on its own. And also another component within that project is to look at irrigation and how we can have a more efficient and effective irrigation system, so as to increase productivity or the yield per acre, which is one that has been decreasing as time goes by in the sugar industry. So when you compare, for example, the producers in the north versus the producers in the west, there is a gap in terms of comparing the yield per acre.
Stakeholders in the sugar industry up north have highlighted all the challenges cane farmers have been facing in the ongoing sugar crop season. Earlier this week, ASR executive Mac McLachlan commented that as a result of the conglomeration of issues, there will be significant losses this season. One of those challenges is the bad state of sugar roads, and this week, the Prime Minister confirmed that they have allocated closer to $2 million for the necessary upgrades, so long as the weather permits. He first responded to our question of whether the PUP enjoys the support of cane farmers at this time.
Yes, we have the support of the cane farmers. We've done very well for them. If you remember, the previous government used to give them $400,000. What we have done, we have signed a contract in December, but we can't control the rain. It's been raining since October, virtually non-stop. And the only way we could fix these roads if it gets dry. And they know that, but of course they're impatient, and I understand the impatience. What we have done, we have put in another $1 million on top of what we have already signed. So I think it's probably going to be about $2 million. We've never put that kind of money. So, and they know that, and they're working with us. But even the factory is not going well for them, because the cane that we're bringing in has too much water. The water content is so high, so the tons of cane for a ton of sugar is way too high. The amount of mud that comes into the system, it's wrecking up the equipment of BSI. So who knows? Maybe we should have held back even a bit more for conditions to change.
But if there are losses all around, are you fearful or concerned of what that will mean for the economic activity up north whenever they expect their payments? Obviously, they have their loans and all of that.
Of course, I'm concerned, but it's something that it's not of our making, but we'll have to deal with it when that time comes. And there are different ways, and one idea that we've been playing with, and we don't fully work it out, there's a lot of liquidity in the system, and so one of the challenges that our farmers they have is the issue of financing. They get these one-year financing loans from the banks, and the interest rates are as much as high as 14%. Okay. So they're gouging them, and so every year they have to go and renew, and so when you run and for the same spot, just to stay on the same spot, or sometimes even go backwards. One idea that we're looking at is that if we could provide the financing, we did provide financing through DFC, through I think it's CDB, I don't remember, or IDB, whereby financing for the farmers, but they were saying that and the condition was not to pay off loans, to do more loans, so they can't afford more loans. The idea we're thinking about is maybe we could use this excess financing liquidity, pass it on to DFC, then DFC could go to the farmer, could go to DFC and say, okay, I owe $10,000, okay, we'll pay off the $10,000, maybe give you another $5,000 to be able to rebuild, but then give you maybe 3-4 years at a lower interest rate. So then it gives them breathing space to be able to continue to rebuild their cane fields.
After the break, PM says they are improving the military's infrastructure after years of neglect. Stay with us. Prime Minister John Bersenio has conceded that the military has been neglected, but affirmed that in their term, they have started to invest in the upgrade of the facilities. The commander of the Belize Defense Force, Brigadier General Azaria Loria, earlier this week made the remark about having been neglected when asked about an accusation that low morale permeates the military's rank and file. We hear first the comment from Loria, followed by that of the Prime Minister.
The morale of the soldiers, the pay, it is still not fully resolved. That is something that is still at the desk of the Public Services Commission. The pay continues. I do not believe that it will be cut, but that is only my belief. And they continue to receive their salaries, every single one of them, and there are some allowances that are in the pipeline as well. So I don't know how that could be an issue whenever we have been hearing of even pay allowances for everyone. And then we have been neglected. The media is aware of that. Whenever hurricane comes, you all know what happens to our installations in Price Barracks. You see zinc all over the place. But we were trying to improve, and over the past, in my tenure, for instance, that dilapidated kitchen that we had is no more. It was about to be closed down by the Ministry of Health. We have a brand new one. We have some top-of-the-line barrack rooms to withstand Category 5 hurricanes. We are trying to improve. We wish that the resources that we have are infinite, but unfortunately, we have to live within our means. We do not have petroleum in this country, and what we will continue to do is continue to leverage the government of the day of Belize to try to assist, and slowly but surely, and in the coming years, I think that we will get back to where we want to be when it comes to infrastructure.
No, but he's right, but we have been working on that, and our government have been investing millions of dollars in the BDF. We've gotten trucks, we've gotten more equipment, we just have a new kitchen. You realize that the previous kitchen, that the septic tank was right next to the kitchen, and that's where we had our people. We just built a new barracks. We're going to build now a clinic down south. So we have been doing our part to improve the morale with the BDF. So he's right. But this government has been working with them, and the morale has been getting better over the past few years.
Prime Minister John Bersenio has classified as madness the comments of United States President Donald Trump, who has said that Panama has been charging unfair fees for the use of the canal, which sees the transit of about 5% of the world's maritime trade. President Trump has also remarked that China controls the canal and the U.S. will take it back. Over 2.5 decades ago, the U.S. handed over control of the Panama Canal to Panama. On Wednesday, PM Bersenio said the Panama Canal belongs to Panama.
That's madness. I don't think that will not happen. I don't see the United States invading Panama to take over the canal. It's good politics. It sounds good for him to see, but I don't think he will go through that. And our support is 100% with Panama. Panama is a sovereign country, and the canal belongs to Panama.
Speaking about President Trump's executive orders that he signed on his first day in office on January 20th, including the withdrawal of the United States from the World Health Organization and withdrawal from the Paris Agreement regarding climate change, as well as ending U.S. international climate funding, Prime Minister John Bersenio questioned Trump's reasoning. However, he also noted that U.S. is a sovereign state. In relation to the Paris Agreement, Bersenio called it an unfortunate decision, especially given the increasing effects of climate change that can also be seen in the U.S.
I have no idea why you do such thing. The World Health Organization is it's one of they do a lot of good in this world, especially in countries that need help. when it comes to the health challenges and diseases and so forth. I don't know his reasoning. It doesn't make sense. But again, they're a sovereign nation and they decide what they want. It's unfortunate, just like with the Paris Agreement that he's already said he's going to sign out. I mean, if he can't see that we have that climate change upon us, then he never will. And it's short-sighted because now when you look at the record freezing that you have in the United States, the floodings, the hurricanes, especially when it hits in the Gulf of Mexico, and I stress Mexico, the Gulf of Mexico, and New Orleans and that area, Louisiana, Houston, or Texas and Florida, then I think again it's short term on them. It's unfortunate, and then we, Belize, and small countries like us pay the price.
Today, former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg announced that his philanthropy arm will provide funding to help cover the shortfall in international climate funding as a result of Trump's decision. In relation to the decision on the WHO, the Ministry of Health from Bahamas issued a statement Tuesday aligning itself with the call from the WHO for Trump to reconsider the decision in the interest of the health and well-being of millions of people worldwide. Trump's cited reason for the withdrawal from the WHO is its handling of the COVID-19 pandemic and other international crises. In the pursuit of producing better quality sugar to export, many initiatives are being explored which would directly help sugarcane farmers, particularly in the north. However, Dr. Osman Martinez said that the factory has a role to play as well and that the government will consider ways to help BSI-ASR grow.
Then you have the factory, that is the ones who have the supply chain, both nationally and internationally, that needs to produce high quality products. Now, in terms of ASR, BSI, you also have to look at opportunities for them. How can we lead them into areas where maybe they can access funds such as climate finance, or how can they access finance at a low interest rate when globally the interest rate is pretty high? Okay, so government will come and just enable that environment for them so that we can be in a very good position, maybe not for next year, but 2 or 3 years from now. The strategy has to have three main components, which is the short term, medium term, and long term plan.
After the break, Education Ministry holds stakeholders meeting with BNTU. Stay tuned.
Marlon Castillo Quality Meats. For the best in beef and pork. Check them out at Booth 39 at the Michael Finnegan Market.
The Central Bank of Belize today unveiled the design of promised new currency notes at the Belize Civic Center. The $2, $10, and $20 notes feature the portrait of Philip S.W. Goldson, while the $5, $20, and $100 notes feature the portrait of George Cato Price. The new notes were designed with similar color schemes to their predecessor, with each note featuring a different color. Central Bank Governor Kareem Michael reminded Belizeans that there will be no change in the value of the Belize dollar after the new notes enter circulation in June or July of this year.
They are designed to enhance security features, making them more resilient against counterfeiting and misuse. As you will hear from the Prime Minister shortly, the new family of notes also allows us to recognize and celebrate our heritage and the rich history of Belize. As I bring these brief remarks to a close, I would like to re-emphasize that when we put the new series of notes into circulation, there will be absolutely no change in its value. Today, $1 US is equivalent to 2 Belizean dollars. This will not change. The value of 1 Belize dollar after the new banknotes are put into circulation will remain the same. We will continue to share this message with the people of Belize over the next several weeks and months as we launch the campaign to educate the Belizean public about the new currency notes. Our objective is to ensure that all Belizeans are made aware of the main features of the new notes, including the appearance of each denomination in the series. Through this campaign, we intend to ensure that all Belizeans will see the new currency notes as a symbol of national pride, another reason to celebrate the beauty and rich history of our country. The Central Bank continues to work to safeguard the integrity of Belize's money and ultimately promote financial system stability. We encourage every citizen to embrace this change with pride and confidence, knowing that it reflects our dedication to ensuring a secure financial future for all.
Stuart Rost, the principal banknote designer at De La Rue International, was tasked with designing the new notes with the help of Belizeans. He explained that many Belizean elements were included in the design. He also explained a few of the security features, as all will not be revealed to the general public.
Each denomination pays homage to your nation and acts as a canvas of its own identity. We wanted to create banknotes that Belizeans would not only use but also cherish. On the fronts of the banknotes, you will immediately notice a change to the portraits. The designs now include images of important Belizean leaders, positioned alongside your national flower, the orchid. The orchid also doubles as a security feature, viewable under UV light. The main thematic subject of each denomination is also depicted on the front of each note as a small vignette, prompting the user to turn over and study the larger scope of the thematic scenes on the reverse. Traditional features such as watermarks and see-throughs are constantly positioned across the series, relating to each other through the portraits, and include Mayan numeral graphics to denote denomination. You will also notice connected thematic detail across the series built into the innovative security threads, holographic stripes, and printed features to promote authentication. Tilting the notes will reveal the bright colour, changing and dynamic movement of these new features. Colour plays an important role in differentiating each denomination, making it easier to recognise value quickly with large value numerals on the front and reverse. There is also additional tactility on the notes with raised ink bars to provide a little extra assistance to the visually impaired.
The Ministry of Education today held an extended stakeholders meeting with the Belize National Teachers Union, BNTU, and the managing authorities of schools from the pre-primary to the secondary level. In a statement describing the first ever meeting, the ministry stated that all stakeholders committed to fostering collaboration and enhancing Belize's education system. The meeting was chaired by Education Minister Francis Fonseca and included officials from the Social Security Board, Belize Tax Service, and Treasury Department. The parties signed a joint statement, quote, underscoring a commitment to fostering sustained, effective, and efficient collaboration and communication to benefit students, teachers, parents, and administrators with the goal of creating an education system that meets the needs of the nation and its people, end quote. Ahead of this meeting, the minister had told us that they would continue discussions regarding teachers' concerns about the late payment of increments, allowances, and salaries. Sugarcane yield has been lower than hoped this season up north, but this is due to several factors, including weather, pests, and lack of proper sugar roads. While the government is working on improving yield, they are also investing to improve quality. Dr. Osman Martinez, Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Trade, explained that with better quality, the country can fetch better prices, which would equal more funds when compared to previous years, even if yield remains low.
We do have a big gap in terms of trade deficit. Okay. We import more than what we export, but that is measured by dollars and cents, which means that even if we are producing the same amount of products, but if the selling, at the price, at what we're selling those goods is much higher, then there is a direct increase in terms of decreasing the import and export, because import and exports are measured based on dollars and not on the quantity of the goods.
In court news, Belmopan resident 34-year-old Lincoln Bejarano has been sentenced to life in prison for the 2016 murder of Belmopan taxi driver 28-year-old Isidore Suar. The sentence was handed down Wednesday by High Court Justice Antoinette Moore, who indicated that he must serve 25 years before he can apply for parole. Bejarano had been on remand but escaped from authorities on October 26, 2016, and was not recaptured until 3 years after. Bejarano was known as, quote, Belmopan Badman, as he was accused of committing several crimes. Bejarano was charged for the Suar murder after being found in possession of his taxi cab. And PUP leader John Briceño is hopeful that their candidate in Mesopotamia, Lawrence Ellis, can pull off a win to overturn the UDP's winning streak in the division for half a century. Briceño said that with two factions of the UDP now fielding candidates, Ellis stands a better chance at recovering the division for the PUP.
Well, whenever you have your opponent support is being divided, it certainly it gives you as an opportunity. But you're right, the Mesopotamia division has been voting UDP since 1974 when they defeated Lindsay Rogers, but it's on us now to be able to try to take advantage of it. But it's still difficult. We have a very good candidate, and so I'm very hopeful that he'll be able to do well. Larry, he was born in that area, he grew up in that area, so he's well known in that area, really nice guy, and so maybe we would have to take advantage of this opportunity that has been offered to us.
Do you view Lee Mark as a formidable candidate?
Of course, Lee Mark is well known. He also lived in that area for a long time. His family, the original Chosan was in I think it's Euphrates in that area, and so I think he's pretty well known in that area, and I'm supposing he has access to enough funding, and so yes, we see him as a formidable candidate.
Elections are a few months away. Who and the UDP still haven't mended or gotten back together. Who do you think should get the color red in this case?
Thankfully, that's not for me to decide. That's something that the Elections and Boundaries Commission will decide, or the Chief Elections Officer. So I leave that to the experts. I mean, and the officials. They will decide who will get the red.
And with that, we have come to the end of our newscast. The repeat can be viewed on this station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. Join us again tomorrow for another news broadcast. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.